everyone. I have a class coming up in a week, and it is called Fabric Collage in the Figure. And this is something that I've taught live this past summer and really enjoying it and loving the interaction with the students and the work that they're coming up with. And I'm going to post some of those pictures because they're truly inspiring and all very different and unique. And that's what I love about this process, is it's not a carbon copy of what I'm doing. And so we'll be starting out, and I'll demonstrate how I do, well, you can add as many layers as you want. But for this one, for instance, it's 3 different layers of fabric, and I do different applications on them with gesso and plastering. And then on top I have my watercolor paper with the plastering. So this is kind of what we start painting on once we kind of figure out what we want to do with that. And you can go, if you want to go with the face, you can always do a portrait, or if you want to do a figure, here's this one. And then I'm going to show you a picture of the one that I actually demonstrate too. And I also, in this class, I go over how I create my figures. And this isn't any type of art, art anatomy class, but I do show you proportions and how I go about just creating a simple line form of a figure. And then what you do once you have this figure, then you place a piece of tracing paper over it, and you create your garment on top of the figure. So I will be demonstrating how I do that, and then you can transfer that drawing onto your collage piece and work from there. And there's a couple other videos where I'll be working with different strips of fabric, and this is pretty much to either come up with different borders for the pieces, or you can incorporate them into your piece. And what's fun about this is that this is time for you to play, and to play with all your different materials and techniques, and all kinds of things will happen. And so when I was doing this, I started creating these little figures, and I have a video on how I did her. And it just started out with just finding a simple little garment that I liked online, or a mannequin, and then just either collaging or transferring onto the fabric, and then playing with just adding little whimsical legs and the head. And these are things that you can do really quickly, and they're really fun and expressive. So that came out of just playing with all my little strips. And I also have a video of how I did this piece here, using the same kind of technique. I started with a mannequin, and then I built from there. I videotape this process, but only up to the point where I did more sepia tones. And so I put the piece aside. I thought she was done, and she wasn't, and I went ahead and started putting pinks and all these other colors into it, and realized that I didn't tape it. So I give you the process of how I did this with the coloring, which is pretty easy. And lastly, I do a demonstration on flowers, and this little piece here, I do a video on how I painted this little cluster of flowers. So it's a fun class, and it just, I'm very energized because I taught it live, and that, it's just a wonderful experience. So I hope you come to the Trodden Path and join the class. Thanks.